LA pastor passing out Christmas presents mowed down. And now there's a reward. Whoever killed her out there, police are asking, it's a $50,000 reward being offered for any information on a hit and run driver that killed Trina Newman-Townsend, 62 years old, delivering gifts to a shelter on Christmas Eve. Trina was a beloved community member in the South Los Angeles area, known to many as a minister, activist, and a beautiful foster mother to 10 different children. She was near the area of South Broadway and 88th Street at around 3:30 p.m. Christmas Eve. That afternoon, a hit and run driver struck her as she walked back to her vehicle just after delivering a slew of presents to those in need as they searched for the driver of the blue mid-sized sedan that left her lying in the street, according to her brother. Trina was with 3 of her foster children who survived this. Investigators returned to the scene of the collision Monday. They were searching for additional evidence, including surveillance footage from nearby businesses. Anyone with information is being asked to call LAPD. Phone number 213-833-3746. Trina's brother, Dwayne Newman, pleading for the person responsible to come forward, saying, if you have any kind of compassion in your heart, if you have any kind of mercy, any sympathy, any humanity, please help us and just turn yourself in. Again, a plea from her brother. In the meantime, community members opened a GoFundMe to pay for her funeral expenses. And you see it there as folks contribute. Certainly hope people give more. This beloved pastor, age 62, to me that's still a young woman, Jackson, had so much more to do here. We can speculate. People drink, people drive, and people leave the scene of a crime. I happen to believe that whoever did this knows they did it, probably at the time. What's it gonna take for someone's conscience to get the better of them?
Well, if they've thought it through, then hopefully they, go in and do the right thing. But if not, then unfortunately it'll probably take them getting caught at some point. But I think that this story really highlights how, oftentimes the most important people in any community are those who really don't get notoriety, don't really get fame, but they really give the most of themselves to people in ways that matter. When you grow up and you have kids who maybe are in rough neighborhoods or who grow up in, households that aren't very loving or supportive, it's women like this who show them a better way, who put them on a better path because they give themselves. And it's always a shame when people like this lose their lives, because like you said, 62, that's really not old, especially not in times like this. And often evil people live very long lives. So I definitely hope that we can, so I definitely hope that we can raise more money for Trina. But again, it's people like her that really make the most difference in people's lives.
Yeah, when I looked at her picture, not only did she have more living to do, but there was this sparkle. You know how some people, it kind of just radiates from these still pictures. And when I look at this, I've never met this woman, but you almost feel like you knew who she was and what she was about. 10 foster kids, that couldn't be easy. Nowhere in anything do I see that she was a rich woman, but she's out there just trying to help people. Just help people do the work. And I too would like to see, people give what they can, but we'd like to see more, so her work can continue here. But the children that she leaves behind, I guess it's a greater community, Jackson, but the ones that were with her and who experienced this, what's the message in all of it for them?
I mean, unfortunately, it's 10 of them, so all of them, will take it a little bit differently. And this is why things like this are so tragic, because when people go through things like this, they don't always come through on the other side. And this again is an example of why people like Trina are so important. And I'm 30 years old now, so I'm old enough to look back and remember people like her who again had the most impact in my life. Maybe at the time I really didn't fully realize it or understand what was going on. But again, it's people like her that make a difference in those 10 kids' lives. And life is rough, life is unforgiving, and life is random. It doesn't really show favor. physics is what physics is. So all those 10 children are going to have to live their own lives.
I will say this, that a lot of times when something like this happens and police are seeking help, you don't see a reward that is $50,000, and that's nothing to sneeze at. And perhaps that will draw someone out, as well as her brother and that plea. If you have any compassion, any empathy, that's where I started. When we began this segment, I just want to believe that there are people out there who, they fall into two camps. There are good people who occasionally do bad things, right? It's just human nature. You're human. And then there's bad people who mean you no good. And I think that we have evidence of a few of those people who are still in our presence, in our midst. But I'd like to think whoever did this is part of the first group, but perhaps that's wishful thinking.
Well, hopefully we'll find out soon, but definitely, however that ends, I definitely hope that we can raise more money for Trina.
Yeah, me too. I'm gonna give myself